What's up, guys? Just gonna have a real conversation today about execution and implementation. Basically kind of the same thing, kind of not. Like, we got to implement it and execute it effectively so that we get the outcomes that we're really wanting. So if you guys haven't been here before, my name is Kelly McKay. Please subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, hit the like button, and leave me a comment below. The wind is blowing like crazy outside. There's things crashing around out front. But anyhow, let's talk about this. So, I am the world's worst because I love shiny new objects. I love new ideas. You know, I'm a dreamer. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a visionary. You know, I see like, oh man, I find this thing and I'm like, oh man, if we can implement this, think of the success that we're going to have. And like, I'm really good at visualizing what this could be like, you know, for the company, for everyone who is involved in the company, and for myself, you know, because the better we can get, the better our company is, and it just makes everybody's lives better. So I'm really great at that. The problem with that, and if that's you, is you take this back to your company and you're like, okay, I'm going to implement this. And you don't really get anybody's buy-in. Like, you didn't talk to anybody about it. You didn't, you just said, here's what I want to do. Here's what I see happening for us. Let's go. Let's do it. And nobody's really excited about it. And the reason they're not excited about it is because you didn't ask for their input on this. So the number one thing is to get everybody's input on what that new thing is, and grab some ideas and what are their thoughts surrounding this thing. And let's tackle this thing as a group. Because if we tackle it as a group, then we can get buy-in from everybody else, which means that if we get buy-in, then everybody's going to own it. And that's ultimately what has to happen for any new thing to be implemented and to be executed efficiently and effectively. So we have to get buy-in. We have to determine the what, you know, what is it that we're going to do? If there's something that's lacking in our company that has to improve because we're getting really crappy results from it, then we gotta know what that is first. So it could be just an open conversation with everybody. What do we need to improve? And then we can start grabbing ideas and start, even take almost a vote. Like, what should we work on first once we get all these ideas? And then go from there. But collectively using the group to help implement these ideas. And so the what. Now that we've determined the what, now the how. Like, how are we going to do it? And we may talk about this and say it, but does it ever get put into a plan, like an actionable plan? Is it written down into your policies maybe? Is it written down into your procedures and your processes? You know, oftentimes that step gets skipped, and we need to go back into all of those things. If we have those things, we need to go back into them and change them if we're going to change how we do business. So the what, we've determined that. The how, as a collective group, we've kind of determined the how. The who does this affect? And who's going to be responsible for ensuring that it continues to be executed consistently, because it's all about consistency. If we don't maintain consistency, then nothing's going to change. And this is the problem that I've had in my business with my way of going about implementing things, which was the wrong way. And what you're going to find is that you'll come in and you'll do some stuff, and then it just kind of fades away, and then you wind up not doing it anymore. And this is what I don't want to happen to you. Especially if it's an effective process that works. You know, there's been tons of processes that we have implemented that continue today in our business, but there's been a lot of them that hasn't. And that's because there's probably been way more. There's probably been 2-3 times more that haven't been effectively implemented, and they faded away, even though they were great ideas that could really make an impact with how we ran the business and, the results that we were getting. Then, how are you going to measure this? We got to determine, like, because what gets measured gets managed. So we have to measure it to determine that we are seeing the results that we want. Because if we're not measuring it, we may find that, we implement something new, but it's not quite working. So we may have to make some pivots and adjustments along the way, and continue to record those and continue to meet with our team to find out what's going right, what's going wrong. I've talked about meetings, start doing, stop doing, keep doing. So you could literally just that could be the 3 subjects you talk about this new thing you're going to implement. What are we going to stop doing about it because this particular part of it doesn't work? What are we going to start doing, and what are we going to keep doing? What is working, right? So you can cover those things every single meeting when it comes to this new thing that you're implementing. So once you've determined all of that stuff and you've got it actually implemented and you're executing and you're measuring and you're seeing results, that's the whole thing. Now it's just consistency, maintaining those results, maintaining that continuous, consistent execution. So if you've done that successfully, then it's time for the next thing. Okay, now that when we first met and we had this list of items, what's the next thing we should implement? And then we're going to talk as a team about that and then determine what we're going to do to make sure that this thing gets implemented the same way. And so your business is constantly changing and evolving, and that's the whole goal with business. So if you're really small and it's just you, it takes no time to implement something new. Like you could just take an idea, go do it today, go try it, see if it works. If it works, then immediately this is the way you're going to start doing things. And when it comes to consistency, like you don't have a team surrounding you if you're just starting out. So you've got to hold yourself accountable to doing these things. If you learn a new service process that directly increases your results, like your average ticket goes up by $200 or something like that, well, now that you know how to do it, you've got to hold yourself accountable to do it every single time. So it's all about consistency. So there's a lot of other things to talk about, I guess, when it comes to this, but you get the gist. If you just take those steps, you figure out the what, the how, the who, and measure this stuff and implement a plan and change the way that you do things in your process and procedures, and then just stay consistent with it, well, then you're going to see massive changes and growth in your business. And the thing about it is also, there's always little tiny tweaks that we can make that can, completely change or save a ton of time or whatever it is that makes our business more effective. And the smaller you are, normally the faster you can implement and execute. But I'm not saying that when I read Scaling Up by Vern Harnish. If you haven't read that book, I've recommended it before, but you got to read that book. It's a really great book. Great ideas for businesses. It's a little bit like Traction with Gino Wickman, which is also a tremendous book. Like, you've got to go read that book too. But once you implement these things, it's according to Scaling Up by Vern Harnish, I think they said, if I remember right, it's 3 to 4 things, no more than like 3 things per quarter getting implemented. And by the time you get done, if it's 3 things, well, then you've implemented 12 new things in your business. And that just compounds year after year after year. I mean, by the time you're in your 5th year, you got 60 new things that you've implemented, if I did my math right? So a lot of changes happen in those first 5 years. However, there are way bigger businesses that once they meet as a group collectively and they write down all the problems there are with the company and all the ideas that come through collectively as a business that they determine that they're going to start focusing on to fix these things. There's been companies that have 150 ideas starting out, and in the first year, they've implemented a third of those, right? So 50 new ideas implemented, executed consistently right in the first year. So don't let somebody else's idea of how many things you can implement and execute and consistently stay within your company, don't let other ideas hold you back from doing more if it's something that you think you can do. But the main thing is to do it effectively and efficiently and then stay consistent with it. So hope you guys enjoyed this lesson. Hope you guys take something from it. Don't do what I did. You know, don't constantly be coming up with new ideas and implementing into your, just throwing them on everybody, because it's not very effective. So use this strategy that we just talked about. And if you would like to learn more, please click the link below for some more free training. And until next time, go make money. Boom.